Caleb felt like he got his feet under him. He felt a little more poised. You're going to describe it. So let's start with the first piece of tape.
Sure. So essentially, you look at the formula to win. We talk about on this show all the time. What's their formula to win with a rookie superstar quarterback, weapons on offense, a punter who can kick it out of the stadium and flip field position, a kicker in Cairo Santos that can get you 3 points on the regular as soon as you cross the 40-yard line. I mean, you have options, plus a defense that led the league in interceptions last year. They get takeaways. You're going to get free possessions. Take care of the football and make me really good decisions, especially 3rd and long. Go ahead and roll the tape. So look at the situation here. They're down 6. It's a one-score game, second quarter, at home, Soldier Field. Fans are a little shaky, right? You've dropped the last 2 games on the road. But these Rams defenders have done a good job all game so far, toggling their safeties, rocking and rolling their safeties, disguising looks. Does it look like pressure? Kind of. But what do? They're going to blow out of there, bluff it, which means you're going to get exaggerated zone drops. These guys got to really hightail it out from the line of scrimmage. And then look at the play call. Zebra personnel, which is 11, 1 back, 1 tight end, 3 receivers. Gun, trips left, Y off, close. 75, pepper, X deep cross, backs cross. It's a lot to say, right?
It's a lot to spit out.
A lot to spit out. So here's the routes in accordance with the play call. You're getting double posts, the 2 Ps and dipper tell you the post. That's number 1, your big post option. Remember, it's 3rd and 9. You got to throw the ball down the field potentially. There's your seam post, which is more of like a blitz 0 answer. Number 3 is DJ Moore ripping across the field on a deep crosser. That's why you say close in the formation to remind him to close his split. Then you got the tight end and the halfback crossing each other in case you get man-to-man to get a natural pick. Reminder that in 75 protection out of the gun, these guys are going to chip on their way out. So they're going to help the tackles while Caleb's looking down the field, reading this deep post, seam post, and deep cross. 1, 2, and 3. I love his eyes. I love him defining 5 steps in his drop, understanding that there's wide, expansive zone drops. Nothing's open downfield. 1, 2, and 3 are dead to me. I got to get to number 4. Where's Cole Kmet? Right there. I want to throw it to him, but Quentin Lake's right in front of him. Where's my back? I get all the way to number 5. On this, give him a catchable ball. Shout out to Roschon Johnson for going up and plucking this thing out of the air because it's not the best ball, but he keeps his momentum going forward. 1 foot in the ground, split defenders, go get me a first down. He threw it 4 yards to gain 9 yards.
That's
right?
a lot.
That's a lot, right? In just one play. Now, this is where the Bears hurt themselves. That play was negated. I had to show it. I didn't want to be Debbie Downer from the jump. But the play was negated because Darnell Wright, the right tackle, lined up too far back, illegal formation. Those are the kind of things they need to eliminate. The pre-snap penalties. They were number 4 in the league coming into the game on pre-snap penalties. They need to cut those out. But that shows me right there that Caleb Williams is seeing it. They're giving him full field reads. He's understanding the situation and the down and distance. That was perfect. And so much growth compared to the last couple weeks, even from the first week. He didn't turn it over. They won the game. He threw it 23 times. 23 times, not 50 plus, not 360 plus yards. Okay, fine. It's not your best stat line, but the most important one is the W in the win column. Is that right?
Yeah. I really wanted to highlight that because people keep trying to act like Caleb Williams isn't improving or that he's proven to be a bust and this, that, and the third. And that's why I really wanted to highlight this because it's obvious that people are just kind of making stuff up at this point, right? And you can see the true concrete growth of Caleb Williams. And I already hear the comments of people being like, yeah, but like it should be better sooner because they said that he's supposed to be the next big thing, generational. And it's just like everybody kind of evolves and matures and grows at their own pace. And so it's awesome to see the Bears actually have an appropriate game plan because before they were like, it just never felt like they actually ever had a legitimate game plan. And that's why I would also want to highlight, because what Sanchez said before, where he talked about, what is the game plan? Like, what do we know is going to win games with this rookie quarterback? And it's like, kicking field goals, not turning the ball over, relying on your defense, get you extra possessions, good field position, et cetera, et cetera. And that's what this team was always meant to be, quite frankly, right? Like, that's what this team was meant to be with a rookie quarterback, with the level of the O-line that the Bears have and the type of defense and the head coach in Eberflus, right? And it was almost like those first few games they got away from that. They're like, nah, let's be an offensive team. Let's be a high flying. We're gonna have Caleb Williams throw like 50 times. Like, let's go. And it's like, no. That's not what this team is. That's not how this team is constructed. And that's not how this team is going to win games. It's not to say that Caleb Williams isn't going to be a big offensive presence, but again, it's just take your time to get to that point, right? All of these things matter, and all of these things are in context. So yeah, I think people look at that box score and that stat line, 17 for 23, 157 yards, a touchdown, and they're just like, what? That's the number one pick? And it's like, yeah, that's how you win games a lot of times. That's how you win a lot of games. Having a stat line like that, playing situational football, right? Like there's such this anti sentiment around taking care of the ball, running the ball, kicking field goals. I mean, people think that unless you get a touchdown, it's just, you're done. And I get it. And I think what it also is, I think people didn't have this feeling, years and years and years and years ago, right? And then a couple things happened, right? One, video games exploded, right? Now everyone and their mother plays Madden, even people who never even played sports. And then two, everything became so offensively driven and pass driven in the NFL. And because of that, right? Like who hasn't, when you're playing Madden or any other video game where it's like 4th and 7 and you're like, I'm not punting. Why am I punting? I'm playing the computer. Who cares? I'm not punting. I don't care. I want to ball, man. I want to be on offense. I want to be on defense. Right? And it's like that mentality that captured kids when they were like 7 years old, and now they're fans, right? They're in their 30s now, 40s, whatever, 20s, watching football, and like that's their mentality. And that coincides with these high scoring, hyper athletic, elite great quarterbacks who are putting up points with changing of the rules of the NFL, and it's just, touchdowns going for it on 4th and 4 on your own 45, and it just has made a whole generation of fans think that 17 for 23, 157 yards, touchdown, no turnovers, winning 24-18 means that you didn't play good. And that's a problem, right? Now, there's absolutely some quarterbacks who have that stat line and they still didn't play good, right? It wasn't like just situational football. It was just like they couldn't do more than that, right? Like, so that's why you can never just look at a stat line and just say, well, this is proof that this was good. Because you could absolutely have a quarterback who puts up those numbers and be like, yeah, but like, he had some wide open looks that he was really missing, or like the score should have been 35-18, but my God, and like that's not the case here with Caleb Williams. And even if he has a couple of those moments, he is a rookie, right? Like that's also going to happen. But also, the other thing that I wanted to point out that Mark Sanchez said about the pre-snap penalties and stuff like that, and that is something that you can't do. You can't do that when you're a defensive team, first and foremost, and you can't do because the margin of error is too small. When you're a defensive-led team, the margin of error is too small, and you can't get away with that as much as a team that's going to be able to put up regularly 30-plus points, right? So that really hurts you, as well as having a rookie quarterback. When you have a rookie quarterback, everybody else has to be ready to go. You can't make mistakes. You're just making your life harder for the life that's already hard for the rookie quarterback, right? Drop passes, no run game, and pre-snap penalties are just going to just put too much on a rookie quarterback to try to overcome. It just becomes too much. So you do want to see that cleaned up. I know a lot of people, a lot of teams are having problems with penalties this year because they're really starting to penalize things like having, having people not being lined up properly and stuff like that. So there's been a ton of these pre-snap penalties. And so I get it. So I don't want to just 100% put the blame on, the Bears, because you're also getting a ton of these, ineligible receivers. And, all of those penalties have definitely just really skyrocketed, quite frankly. And honestly, it's pretty frustrating from a fan perspective. So I don't want to put that all on the Bears. But at the same time, you have the head coach who's been around the block once or twice. He's not a new coach. He's been with the Bears now for a long enough time that like these little things should and need to be buttoned up. If they want, to continue to grow and start winning games consistently and regularly, and also win games against a higher level of talent, you're going to have to take care of that. But all in all, I still think it's good and positive things. When I first reviewed this game, people were like, "Oh my God, people are making something out of nothing. This is ridiculous." And then even Colin, I think actually was kind of like, "Yeah, they won, but like, look at his, completion percentage with 10 yards plus." And then again, you have someone like Mark Sanchez, who I think is incredibly bright. I really, really think he is absolutely worth a listen to. Him and Dan Orlovsky are my two of my favorite ex-athletes, ex-NFL players and ex-quarterbacks who I think really bring a ton of wisdom. They're not hype machines. They don't get lost in nonsense. And I think they really break it down well, and they really understand the game very well, especially because of how both of their careers unfolded. People think, again, just because you weren't a superstar Hall of Famer, winning Super Bowl after Super Bowl means that your voice is not worth listening to. And it's actually really the opposite. These guys arguably know the game better, way better than a lot of these other great players, because they needed to know the game better to survive in the NFL, because they weren't able to get by on just their arm, their legs, their pure talent. So that's why I always try to find the Mark Sanchez clips with Colin Cowherd, because I think it's awesome what he does. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Are you encouraged by the improvement of Caleb Williams, or do you still think that people are trying to force this progress or force this perception that Caleb Williams is actually doing better than perceived? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.